Hello everyone, Dr. Alan Mandell here. Welcome back to my channel, Science of Healing. Today we're going to talk about something that affects every single one of us, your brain, your memory, and your ability to stay sharp as you age. What if I told you that while you're sleeping tonight, your brain is actually repairing itself, forming new connections, clearing out toxins, and strengthening memory pathways? But here's the truth most people don't realize. Your brain can only repair itself if you give it the right fuel before bedtime. Science shows that certain nutrients support neuroplasticity, reduce inflammation in brain tissue, and help the brain produce neurotransmitters like serotonin and melatonin, the very chemicals that control sleep and memory consolidation. So today, I'm going to share 5 powerful foods that support brain cell health and memory, especially when consumed in the evening. And I'll show you exactly how to use them in daily life. Let's begin. Every single night, something extraordinary happens inside your head, and most people have absolutely no idea it's happening. While your body lies still in bed, your brain is wide awake, working tirelessly, repairing damage, organizing memories, and protecting your future. Scientists have discovered that sleep is not simply rest. It is a biological repair shift, a nightly survival process that keeps your brain alive and your memory intact. But here's the shocking truth. Millions of people are slowly losing their memory, their focus, and their mental sharpness, not because they are aging, but because their brain is being deprived of the deep sleep it desperately needs. Research from leading neuroscience laboratories shows that during deep sleep, your brain activates a powerful cleaning system known as the glymphatic system, a network that flushes out toxic waste that builds up during the day. These toxins include harmful proteins linked to memory loss and cognitive decline. If this nightly cleaning process is interrupted, those toxins can accumulate, slowly damaging brain cells over time. Think of it like garbage piling up in your home. If it's not taken out regularly, the environment becomes toxic. The same thing happens inside your brain. And here's what makes this even more alarming. Studies have found that just one night of poor sleep can increase the buildup of harmful brain waste, reducing mental clarity and slowing reaction time the very next day. But when poor sleep becomes a habit, the damage can become long-term. Memory starts to fade. Focus becomes harder. Simple tasks begin to feel overwhelming. This is not imagination. This is biology. During deep sleep, your brain enters a highly specialized stage called slow-wave sleep, where electrical activity slows down and the brain shifts into restoration mode. In this phase, brain cells repair microscopic damage caused by stress, inflammation, and daily mental activity. New neural connections are formed. Old memories are strengthened. Important information is stored permanently. This process is known as memory consolidation, and without it, your brain struggles to learn, remember, and think clearly. That's why after a good night's sleep, everything feels sharper. You remember names more easily. You solve problems faster. You feel more emotionally balanced. But after a poor night's sleep, even simple things feel difficult. You forget where you placed your keys. You struggle to focus on conversations. You feel mentally foggy and exhausted. This is your brain telling you it didn't get the repair time it needed. And here's something most people don't realize. Your brain uses up to 20% of your body's total energy even while you sleep. That energy is not wasted. It is used to rebuild and protect the very cells that control your thoughts, your emotions, and your memory. Inside your brain are billions of neurons, tiny communication cells that send electrical signals at incredible speed. Every thought you have, every memory you form, every decision you make depends on the health of those neurons. But neurons are fragile. They can be damaged by stress, by poor nutrition, by inflammation, and especially by lack of sleep. When sleep is shortened or disrupted, neurons don't get the time they need to repair themselves. Over time, they begin to weaken. Communication between brain cells slows down. Signals become less efficient. Memory begins to slip. Concentration fades. Mental energy drops. And the most frightening part is that this damage often happens silently, without warning. You may feel fine today, but the effects of poor sleep can build slowly, year after year, until one day you notice something has changed. You forget appointments, you lose track of conversations, you struggle to recall familiar information. This is not simply aging. It is the result of years of interrupted brain repair. Now here is the hopeful news. Your brain is incredibly resilient. It has the ability to heal, rebuild, and adapt even later in life. Scientists call this ability neuroplasticity, the brain's natural power to form new connections and repair damaged pathways. And the most powerful trigger for neuroplasticity is not a pill, not a supplement, and not an expensive treatment. It is deep restorative sleep. During sleep, your brain releases growth factors, special proteins that act like fertilizer for your neurons. These growth factors stimulate the formation of new synapses, the connections that allow brain cells to communicate with one another. More synapses mean faster thinking, stronger memory, better learning, greater mental resilience. This is why people who sleep well often perform better academically, professionally, and emotionally. Their brains are simply better maintained. But when sleep is cut short, even by 1 or 2 hours, the brain loses valuable repair time. Hormones become unbalanced. Inflammation increases. Stress levels rise, and the brain becomes more vulnerable to damage. Researchers have found that chronic sleep deprivation can shrink critical areas of the brain responsible for memory and decision-making. Imagine that. A lack of sleep can physically change the structure of your brain, and yet many people continue to sacrifice sleep believing it is harmless. They stay up late scrolling through their phones. They drink caffeine late into the evening. They ignore the signals their body is sending, and slowly, night after night, their brain misses its opportunity to repair. But when you protect your sleep, something remarkable happens. Your brain begins to recover. Memory improves. Focus sharpens. Mood stabilizes. Energy returns. Even creativity increases, because during sleep your brain is not idle. It is rebuilding your future. Every night you sleep deeply, your brain clears waste, repairs damage, strengthens memories, and prepares you for the next day. It is the most powerful healing process your body performs, and it happens completely naturally. So tonight, when you lay your head on the pillow, remember this. Your brain is about to begin its most important work. Not thinking, not worrying, not planning, healing. What if the real reason memory fades and a focus weakens and the brain feels slower with age is not time itself, but a silent shortage of the nutrients your brain desperately needs every single day? This is not speculation. This is science. Researchers have discovered that the human brain is made up of nearly 60% fat, and much of that fat must come directly from the foods you eat. Without the right nutrients, brain cells cannot maintain their structure, their communication, or their ability to repair themselves. Imagine trying to build a house without bricks, cement, or steel. No matter how skilled the builder is, the structure will weaken. The same thing happens inside your brain when essential nutrients are missing. Neurons begin to struggle. Signals become slower. Memory becomes unreliable. Focus becomes scattered. And over time, the brain becomes more vulnerable to damage. One of the most important nutrients for brain health is omega-3 fatty acids. These healthy fats form the outer membrane of brain cells, protecting them and allowing electrical signals to pass smoothly from one neuron to another. When omega-3 levels are low, brain cell membranes become stiff and fragile, making communication between cells less efficient. This can lead to slower thinking, poor concentration, and increased risk of cognitive decline. Studies have shown that people with higher omega-3 intake often perform better on memory tests and maintain sharper mental function as they age. But here's the alarming truth. Modern diets are severely lacking in omega-3 fats. Instead, they are overloaded with processed foods rich in unhealthy fats that promote inflammation in the brain. Inflammation is one of the hidden enemies of memory. It quietly damages neurons, disrupts communication between brain cells, and accelerates mental aging. You may not feel it immediately, but inside the brain, the damage can slowly accumulate year after year. Another critical nutrient for brain function is magnesium, a mineral involved in more than 300 biochemical reactions in the body. Magnesium helps regulate nerve signals, calm the nervous system, and support deep, restorative sleep. Without enough magnesium, the brain becomes overstimulated and stressed. Sleep becomes lighter, memory becomes weaker, anxiety becomes stronger. In fact, research has shown that low magnesium levels are associated with difficulty concentrating, increased mental fatigue, and reduced learning ability. And yet millions of people are unknowingly deficient in this essential mineral. Now consider antioxidants, powerful compounds found in colorful fruits and vegetables. Every day your brain produces energy to power thoughts, emotions, and movement. But this energy production also creates unstable molecules called free radicals. These free radicals attack brain cells, damaging their structure and interfering with memory formation. Scientists call this process oxidative stress, and it is one of the leading contributors to cognitive decline. Antioxidants act like shields. They neutralize free radicals before they can harm your neurons. They protect the delicate tissue of the brain from inflammation and aging. And they support the brain's natural repair process during sleep. Without enough antioxidants, brain cells are left defenseless against daily wear and tear. Over time, this damage can affect memory, attention, and mental clarity. But there is another nutrient that plays an even more direct role in memory itself. It is called choline. Choline is the raw material your brain uses to produce acetylcholine, a neurotransmitter responsible for learning, attention, and memory formation. Every time you remember a name, learn a new skill, or recall a past experience, acetylcholine is at work inside your brain. But when choline intake is too low, the brain struggles to produce enough of this vital chemical messenger. Signals between neurons weaken, memories become harder to store, mental processing slows down. This is why nutrition researchers emphasize the importance of choline-rich foods for maintaining cognitive health throughout life. Now here is something truly fascinating. Your brain is not a static organ. It is constantly rebuilding itself. Every single day, old neurons are repaired and new connections are formed. But this rebuilding process requires raw materials, vitamins, minerals, healthy fats, and proteins. Without them, the brain cannot maintain its structure. It cannot defend itself against stress. It cannot recover from daily damage. Think of nutrients as the maintenance crew for your brain. They repair broken connections. They strengthen weak pathways. They keep the entire system running smoothly. And when the maintenance crew is missing, problems begin to appear. Brain fog, forgetfulness, difficulty focusing, low mental energy, mood swings. These symptoms are often dismissed as normal aging, but in many cases they are warning signs of nutritional imbalance. The brain is simply asking for the fuel it needs. And here's the hopeful part. When the right nutrients are restored, the brain can respond quickly. Studies have shown that improving nutrition can enhance memory performance, increase attention span, and support faster information processing. Even older adults have demonstrated measurable improvements in cognitive function after correcting nutrient deficiencies. This proves one powerful truth. Your brain has the ability to recover. It has the ability to adapt. It has the ability to heal. But it cannot do it alone. It depends entirely on the choices you make at the dinner table. Every meal is an opportunity to nourish your brain or slowly weaken it. Every snack is a signal to your neurons, either support growth or allow decline. And the effects of those choices accumulate silently, day after day, year after year. So the next time you sit down to eat, remember this. You are not just feeding your stomach. You are feeding your memory. You are feeding your focus. You are feeding the very cells that shape your thoughts, your personality, and your future. Because the health of your brain tomorrow depends on the nutrients you give it today. What if the future of your memory, your focus, and your independence is not determined by your age, your genetics, or your luck, but by the small food choices you make every single day? This may sound simple, even ordinary, but science is revealing something extraordinary. Tiny daily habits repeated over time can either protect your brain or slowly destroy it. Not in dramatic ways you can see overnight, but in quiet, invisible changes happening deep inside your neurons. Researchers have found that the brain begins to change years, sometimes decades, before memory problems become noticeable. Long before someone forgets names, loses focus, or struggles to recall information, the brain is already sending warning signals. Subtle lapses in attention, occasional forgetfulness, mental fatigue at the end of the day. These are not random events. They are early signs that the brain's maintenance system is under stress. And one of the biggest factors behind that stress is diet. Every day, your brain is exposed to inflammation, oxidative damage, and metabolic strain. These forces slowly wear down neurons, weaken connections, and reduce the brain's ability to repair itself. But here is the powerful truth. The foods you eat daily can either accelerate that damage or defend against it. Scientists studying aging populations have discovered a remarkable pattern. People who consistently consume nutrient-rich foods day after day, year after year, tend to maintain sharper memory, faster thinking, and stronger mental resilience well into older age. Not because they found a miracle cure, not because they followed extreme diets, but because they built simple, sustainable habits, one healthy choice at a time. Think about brushing your teeth. You don't brush once and expect lifelong dental health. You brush every day because small daily actions create long-term protection. Your brain works the same way. It responds to repetition, consistency, routine. Each nutritious meal becomes a deposit into your brain's health account. Each unhealthy meal becomes a withdrawal. Over time, those deposits and withdrawals determine the strength of your cognitive future. Now, here is something that may surprise you. Studies have shown that even modest dietary improvements can produce measurable changes in brain function within weeks. Memory recall improves. 4 then in C. Attention span increases. Mental clarity becomes sharper. This happens because neurons are highly responsive to nutrients. Give them the right fuel and they begin to function more efficiently almost immediately. But the opposite is also true. When the diet is filled with processed foods, excess sugar, and unhealthy fats, the brain begins to struggle. Inflammation rises. Blood flow to the brain decreases. Energy production slows down. And over time, the brain becomes less resilient to stress and aging. This is why consistency matters more than perfection. You don't need a perfect diet. You need a reliable one. A routine that supports your brain every single day. Because the brain is not repaired by occasional healthy meals. It is strengthened by daily nourishment. Now imagine two people, both the same age. One eats nutrient-rich foods regularly, simple choices like nuts, seeds, fruits, vegetables, and healthy proteins. The other relies heavily on processed snacks, sugary drinks, and fast food. At first, they may feel similar. Their energy levels may seem the same. Their memory may appear equally strong, but inside their brains, very different processes are unfolding. In the first person, neurons are receiving steady support. Inflammation is kept under control. Brain cells are protected from damage. Connections between neurons remain strong. In the second person, inflammation gradually increases. Oxidative stress accumulates. Communication between brain cells becomes less efficient. Repair processes slow down. Years later, the difference becomes visible. One mind remains sharp, alert, and confident. The other struggles with forgetfulness, confusion, and mental fatigue. This is not fate. This is the result of thousands of small daily decisions. And here is the most encouraging part. It is never too late to start. The brain has an incredible ability to adapt, regenerate, and rebuild itself, a property known as neuroplasticity. Even in later life, new neural connections can form. Memory pathways can strengthen. Cognitive function can improve, but only if the brain receives consistent support. Think of your brain like a garden. If you water it occasionally, weeds begin to grow. If you care for it daily, providing sunlight, nutrients, and protection, it thrives. Your daily food choices are the water and fertilizer for that garden. They determine whether your mind flourishes or fades. And the most powerful changes often start small. Adding one healthy food to your routine, replacing one unhealthy snack, choosing nourishment instead of convenience. These small steps may seem insignificant in the moment, but over time they become life-changing. Researchers tracking long-term health outcomes have found that people who maintain consistent dietary habits experience slower cognitive decline and better mental performance compared to those with irregular eating patterns. Their brains age more gracefully. Their memory stays stronger. Their independence lasts longer, because independence is not just about physical strength. It is about mental clarity, the ability to remember names, to make decisions, to manage daily life without confusion or fear, and that independence is built one meal at a time, one choice at a time, one habit at a time. So tonight, tomorrow, and every day after, remember this simple but powerful truth. Your brain is listening to what you eat. It is responding to every bite. It is adapting to every habit. The future of your memory is not written in stone. It is written on your plate.